Hello, class. We now reach the introduction to 2nd and 3rd John. We'll cover both of them in this lecture and this recording. Author is John the Apostle. External evidence, Polycarp, Irenaeus. They cite from 2nd John in some of their writings. Internal evidence, the author identifies himself as the elder in both of these epistles, 2nd and 3rd John. Both are similar to 1st John in these ways. They have an emphasis on truth. There are references to the Antichrist. There's genuine love. It involves obedience. The command to love is not a new command, and a statement that those who do evil have not seen God. So we see the similarity of language here in both of these epistles, that it most likely is the Apostle John. The dating approximately 80 to 95, just like 1st John. It was written during John's ministry at Ephesus. The recipients, 2nd John is addressed to the elect lady and her children, as stated in chapter 1, verse 1. Some scholars theorize that the author personifies a particular church as a lady. And 3rd John is addressed to Gaius. The reason for writing each of these: 2nd John was written to caution believers against receiving heretics into their homes or churches. So it was a warning. 3rd John was written to express appreciation to Gaius, to rebuke Diotrephes, and to commend Demetrius. Here's an outline of 2nd John. We see the salutation and greeting. Then we see a warning against false teachers. Then we see a concluding remarks. And here's something to give you the flavor of 2nd John. Let's read verses 1 through 6. The elder to the chosen lady and her children, whom I love in truth, and not only I, but also all who know the truth, for the sake of the truth which abides in us and will be with us forever. Grace, mercy, and peace will be with us from God the Father and from Jesus Christ, the Son of the Father, in truth and love. I was very glad to find some of your children walking in truth, just as we have received commandment to do from the Father. Now I ask you, lady, not as though I were writing to you a new commandment, but the one which we have had from the beginning, that we love one another. And this is love, that we walk according to his commandments. This is the commandment, just as you have heard from the beginning, that you should walk in it. And so I highlighted in yellow the verse 4, I was very glad to find some of your children walking in truth, just as we have received commandment to do from the Father. And John would consider himself as an overseer, and he was certainly joy-filled and glad to find that the believers there were walking in the truth. And I can second that feeling as well. And then we see in 2nd John a passage to give flavor about this letter. And John writes, he warns about false teachers. He writes in verse 7, for many deceivers have gone out into the world, those who do not acknowledge Jesus Christ as coming in the flesh. And you notice that was also stated in 1st John. This is a deceiver and the Antichrist. Watch yourselves that you do not lose what we have accomplished, but that you may receive a full reward. Anyone who goes too far and does not abide in the teaching of Christ does not have God. The one who abides in the teaching, he has both the Father and the Son. If anyone comes to you and does not bring this teaching, do not receive him into your house and do not give him a greeting. For the one who gives him a greeting participates in his evil deeds. So he warns them about receiving false teachers, and so you're a participant if you receive him into your house. Oh, I'm sorry, the outline of 3 John. The salutation, working together in love, a word of appreciation, a word of denunciation and warning, a word of instruction, and concluding remarks. And uh, one other to give us the flavor of 3 John. The elder to the beloved Gaius, whom I love in truth. Beloved, I pray that in all respects you may prosper and be in good health, just as your soul prospers. For I was very glad when brethren came and testified to your truth, that is, how you were walking in truth. I have no greater joy than this, to hear my children walking in truth. Beloved, you are acting faithfully in whatever you accomplish for the brethren, and especially when they are strangers, and they have testified to your love before the church. You will do well to send them on their way in a manner worthy of God. For they went out for the sake of the name, accepting nothing from the Gentiles. Therefore we ought to support such men, so that we may be fellow workers with the truth. And so we see he sends this to thank and commend the hospitality of Gaius to help other believers who are, and sheltered them in his own home in their ministry and in their travels. And I believe that does conclude